All right.
Welcome, everyone, to Talking After the Show, Season 1, Episode 21, Grodd Lives. Yes. Ladies and gentlemen. So we had a whole lot of things happen this week, and so we might as well just dive in. But first things first, I'll say that my name is Ari Styles, and this is...
I'm Christopher with... I'm on Twitter at Teleject, Teleject, and we're with...
Evan the Flash Johnson. I'm at fastestfanalive.com and on Twitter at Flash Johnson.
Cool. Awesome.
Okay.
So let's just do a quick recap of the episode in terms of what happened. Like, we also should backtrack a little bit because of last week's episode, we didn't really do
we kind of had some connection problems last week, and we
solar
got
flare.
cut off a little bit, and
yeah,
things were crazy. But the whole deal is last week and this week. Revelations, both last week and this week. And so there's a lot of common threads there.
Yeah. So like we ripped off the Band-Aid that Dr. Harrison wears in the fold was the reverse Flash, right? No, most people knew it, going into this episode of Grodd Lives. And then and this is the episode where it's pretty much Iris's West coming out party, pretty much.
Right. So she has the revelation, but she has multiple revelations because not only does she realize that Barry's the Flash, and I'm grateful that she found out her own way instead of somebody telling her. I really liked that they did it that way. I know.
Oh my gosh.
But then she also had to realize how many people were keeping the secret from her. Right. So that's a set of revelations of its own. And then there was even more that was going on than she realized, because they realized, she realized that from just kind of having conversations that, oh, by the way, one of your coworkers was also killed by the man in yellow too.
That's amazing.
Exactly.
What?
And that is like so messed up on so many levels because you have like, if you're a young fan watching this show, it's pretty okay. But like you're watching an adult, you're just like, wow, just the amount of corruption Detective Joe has is amazing. It's just like, oh, I think I know who killed your coworker. I'm covering it up. So it's just like, it's just amazing how it is.
Yeah.
But yeah, so this is, the whole fact is like, halfway through the episode, it's like, Mason was killed by like this guy. Is like, oh yeah, about that.
By the way, yeah. And it's so many. It's funny in a way. I mean, because I think to have Iris, react and everything is just kind of like, I think it jolts everybody out of like, there's so many things that they take for granted at this point, and to have to tell someone, new. So many new things to them that are things that they've taken for granted for so long, I think. Was big.
So I think this is also I talked about this last episode, I think, but I think this is this would, if they weren't renewed for, all the extra episodes and a new season, like the full season slate, this would be like episode like 8 out of 12 going into it, or like something like that. So, so we've actually just dragged this thing on for like, so long, and like we made fun of Iris West for this whole entire first season.
Well, it's not so much like I'm making fun of it. I mean, and even she said this has been in front of my face the whole time, and I didn't realize it. And so, we often talk about like who's on notice, and so for me, this episode is like. Everybody blaming everybody else this whole episode for the way things played out. And, in a way, it's almost like I put everybody on notice for that, because, I mean, I understand that it's like they have to work it out, on an emotional level or whatever. But she's like, I blame my dad for what happened with Eddie. And I blame myself for not seeing. And Barry's like, I blame myself for this happening. I'm like, can we...
Rational.
Right. There's a lot to be done. Right.
I was like, you don't seem like a sane woman right now. You need to calm yourself. Step back just for an instant and be like, hey, let me think. Am I just really just misdirecting this anger, or is this really like a real issue?
Yeah. So what I like about, like getting past all this with Iris is that this doesn't count as making fun. This is just a fact. She seems to do a lot more work on Team Flash than she ever did as a reporter. Hello. Just the amount of research that she's suddenly doing, that it's people that are a part of her life that are involved.
Well, I think it's just another argument that bloggers aren't journalists. That just goes back to that argument. That's what the whole show's about, really, pretty much. It's like Supreme Court to issue a ruling that bloggers aren't journalists.
Yeah, but so suddenly this happens, and she knows so many things. And, as a reporter, she was just kind of like struggling as a reporter, where she'd have brought the same level of passion to finding out about other things. She would have been an ace reporter at her job. Yeah,
but she also knows that Mason just disappeared out of nowhere. So she's So maybe I shouldn't be a journalist. But
yeah, exactly. People apparently just kill them out of nowhere. Yeah.
And no one wonders where they went either, really. No one really cared. It's like, oh, well, I guess he just went away on a vacation randomly. Like the boss wasn't even wondering where the freelancer, I guess. But still, you gotta wonder where one of your top reporters suddenly just up and vanished. I mean, come on.
Yeah, exactly. Just like
ask a little bit more questions than like that basic. Basically, was Iris saying, basically it was Eddie and them telling him Iris some crazy one-off story, and that was blown off as that. And what, really? You guys dead? Come on, mate.
Yeah. So it's. Yeah, I think it's just kind of like this turning point where we realize that Iris is going to be a part of Team Flash from here on out. And it's interesting because I think she brings a really strong emotional component to it. That, the people that were there had feelings and everything, but she's just kind of like maybe a little bit more of a regular person's emotions, and not, she's not super duper scientist or person blessed with superpowers, and is not gonna have that level of objectivity that comes, from being kind of having that super science background.
Well, I just don't want to spoil it for people, but I guess we will. But it's just like, you think about the emotion, but it's just like she saves the Flash by speaking to him over a microphone, and
it's kind of weird.
I was just like, are you like the female scientist isn't going to be enough? Like, it's got to be Iris West talking, and I was just like, okay, the guy's just getting his mind frozen over by a gorilla. You must have like the most awesome voice just to cut through that and say like, hey, you know what? I don't want to be run over by a train. Thank you.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Thanks for bringing it up.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm gonna interject for a second. Let's not be so cynical. Come on. Let's not be so cynical. Let's step it back for a second. One of the cornerstones of the Flash universe has always been love.
Yeah.
Sure. Always been love. Always been this the basic thing. They've always been married.
Yeah.
They've always been to have children.
Right.
And they've always revolved around like Joan, Iris, Linda, were all cornerstones of the stories, as well as Wally and Barry and Jay. So let's be a little bit more realistic. Yeah. And then he's loved her since he's been like, I don't know, like ever. So I can imagine someone's true love or whatever, that feeling really cutting through all the craziness, and it's not too far-fetched to me.
Okay. Right. No, absolutely not to me either. And I thought it was interesting that it was strange that even if you take away the Barry and Iris situation, she guilts Cisco and Caitlin about you have all this equipment and you have someone to work with that has all the powers of Barry, and you still can't save my dad. You know what I mean? And so it's guilting them, and at one part I'm like, that's kind of, made me a little bit mad, because I'm like, they're trying, but at the same time, it was strangely motivating for them as well, and a voice that they haven't had on the team before. It's like, obviously they care, but that little extra emotional push wasn't there before.
Yeah. Well, also, so it's like the whole episode was about trying to get Eddie, right? And then it became finding Grodd, and then it became getting Joe back from Grodd, whatever. But before that, I want to throw shade to Iris, because the beginning of the episode, Eddie is missing. Like, if she just found out that the Flash is Barry, she's got to know that she's got to be proposed to, right, in 2 seconds, right? and which is another thing altogether. It was just like, which is another argument I want to bring up, but it was just so she goes to see Barry at the police station and says, because Flash told her, like, don't go to the police. I'll go try to solve the problem, right? So she goes to the police station. She thinks that Barry is Flash. She goes to the police station, confronts Barry, and has this really great, it was great dialogue. I thought it was pretty good dialogue about like, hey, you think the Flash is looking for him right now? And then, and also, yeah, but at the same time, it's like,
doing what he can.
If I really cared about Eddie, I'd be calling the police. I'd be calling, everyone the FBI. I'd be calling like everyone who thinks, like, I would risk people thinking I was crazy if they could help me find, my boyfriend, my girlfriend, whatever. But instead, she uses it as a wedge to confront Barry as a Flash.
I think she does care, and I think she knows, and she's just like, suddenly I'm like Team Iris. But I think that she does know, frankly, that Flash and his team will probably do a better job of finding him. And so that's probably why she's following what he said. Like, don't talk to the police, don't talk to whoever. But at the same time, she's like, hurry up. And, oh, by the way, I know it's you.
Right.
I personally, under different circumstances, better circumstances, I think it would have been hilarious if she could have gone like an episode or two and just strung him along the way that she did in that conversation of like, oh, so do you think he's doing everything he possibly can? Really? That would have been funny, but we couldn't do that because it was like an emergency situation.
Yeah, well, I still think it was just like kind of cold because you're like, oh, the love of my life is just, I'm just going to use his information as his hostage. As a wedge, to figure out if
I do.
Oh, she already
I do want to say
Flash. She's not figuring
it out.
Well, and also like my other thing is just like Wells is like persona non grata. Not really welcomed after the big blow up, right? So like it's gonna be so easy to say, hey, I think Wells just stole my kidnapped my my boyfriend. I mean, you have like so many people in the city looking out for where Wells is. That's like you have motivated people going out there. I mean, I just don't understand why she didn't activate the cops. So
I understand why
I personally
didn't activate the cops.
I think Iris has a certain idea of how dangerous the Man in Yellow really is. Yeah. And that if she goes around ringing it from the rooftops and causing all this commotion and everything, I mean, she's still a cop's daughter.
Yes.
She still has her instincts. She still has all those things that make her, Iris. She just haven't really been coming to the forefront until recently, obviously.
Right.
But I think now she really realizes the danger that he poses. Like, she was up close to this dude, and she moved faster than anything, and she just really saw for real the threat that he poses. So that's why she sat there and was silent, because she was scared for her life, I'm sure. The dude was like blink, gone.
Right.
I mean, what would you do? Let's be realistic.
I agree on that one. I understand your beef, but I agree with Devin on this.
Yeah, that's my beef, man.
That's your beef. Do you have any other beefs of this episode?
So my beef is that static electricity. That's how she knows Barry is the Flash. Static electricity, folks. And so this is a different form of electricity than Barry can generate to kick someone's heart. So I'm just like, wow. This Flash, static electricity, neural electricity, it's amazing how much terrible. I felt embarrassed because I say here, like, there's no way. Like 2 episodes ago, I was like, I felt like a total comic book nerd. I was like, there's no way you have electricity from the Flash, from the Speed Force. I was just like, Devin was here. Like, there's no way. And then
we went off on it. Yeah, we did. We went off. We're
just going.
We went off.
And now we have like, oh, static electricity charge. Oh my gosh, you're the Flash. Oh my god. I'm like, so I just like, holy cow.
I can see that though.
Yeah.
I could see that also. I hate to disagree with your beefs again. I'm sorry. But I mean, kinetic motion, like moving on a carpet, creates static electricity, which isn't too far-fetched to think that the Flash might have an excess of that because of how fast he moves and what he does.
Yeah.
Yeah, but he
almost like a foot against a rock, like a quick spark. Boom, boom.
Yeah.
And
like
also,
a battery of static electricity.
Also,
what the heck?
I was looking back at
Go.
You ever read Final Crisis: Road's Revenge?
What was that? Sorry.
Final Crisis.
You read Final Crisis, Rogue's Revenge?
Yeah, I did. It's been a while. So.
Okay, so well, any case, I was watching the whole thing, and I saw the electricity little spark thing, and it got me thinking. I was like, what does that remind me of?
Right.
And it reminded me of Iris describing what it was like when Barry ran and when he touched her and everything. It was different than when Jay was around or when Wally was around. It was almost electric.
Right.
And that is almost directly from, I'm a big geek. I'm sorry. It's ridiculous.
No, it's good. Well, I think the other thing that's important actually, because and that's a beautiful segue to ask you about any other Easter eggs that you noticed in the episode.
I got more beef.
You got more beef?
I got more beef before we get the Easter egg, man.
More beef.
Keep it coming.
You know this beef. I know you'll agree with me on this one. All right. So I'm not sure this was addressed. Maybe it's addressed in an earlier episode, last episode or not. But hey, if a guy can run and kill me with his vibrating hand at any second, like he could be across town, come over here, break a light sweat, kill me with his hand vibrating through my chest, right? I would have some security, right? On the building where I work, the office place I work at, right? You know, but Iris West can just walk in and just see the Barry's wearing the Flash costume and surprise everyone. I was just like, hey, I think your security needs to be updated a little bit here because there's a guy in yellow who just.
I agree completely.
All right.
Bolts right in like it was nothing.
Yeah, I was like, unless there's
almost like when she would have showed her like with like some kind of like tattered clothing, like she went like do some kind of security crazy thing or whatever, like made her way through some gauntlet or something.
Right. She got a security dog biting her leg as she walks
in. She's like dragging the dog in.
Yeah. It's like the principal from Ferris Bueller.
Yes.
At the end of the movie. Yeah.
Yes. Great. Okay. Is any more beef? I agree with that beef. Okay, fine.
Okay. I do too, actually. I do.
Oh, yeah. Oh, sweet. Woo! All right. So
I will help shoulder that load of beef.
That was a big beef, man. That's okay. So
okay, we should talk about Easter eggs. Let's lighten things up here.
The only thing that's really standing out to me, at least, well, besides like all the awesome Grodd stuff,
is Grodd.
That cosmic treadmill that is just staring us in the face every second. Like the last episode has been so glaring, and it's obvious. I feel like it's obvious at least that Barry's going to realize at one point that he needs to figure out some way to precisely travel back in time. And that's where that thing is going to come into play. I don't know. And then Iris was like sitting on it today in a conversation they had, and it just seemed like such a big allusion to it. I see it coming. I don't know. I see cosmic treadmill. It's a little crazy.
Yeah, I mean, they're showing the treadmill like in every episode, like from here on out. And I did the I think you shared we'll probably put the link in the notes, but you sent me a link of the interview with Detective Joe.
Oh yeah.
And so I was reading through, it was a very coy like responses about like you can't wait, it's gonna be my Mindy episode. You don't know who will live or die or whatever at the end of it, right?
Right.
And to me, I think my thing is like the what's it called again? Dang it. I just had it right here in my head. It's Cosmic Treadmill. So the Cosmic Treadmill. There's actually a episode. There's a comic book story where Wally I think he's battling the Reverse Flash. I think this is like the episode where the storyline where they bring an Impulse and everyone in, but he's trying to get rid of Reverse Flash, and so he actually gets on the treadmill, walks really fast, like speeds really fast, and then disappears so fast, and then he taunts him saying. He taunts Reverse Flash, well, I'm going to go back in time, and I'm going to kill you in your crib.
Oh.
Right? Like you killed my mom, I'm going to kill you. Right? And so he disappears, and Reverse Flash is like, no! And then he goes and tries to go and stop him from killing him when he's a baby. But it turns out he just so fast enough that he just went around in another room, and so and then Reverse Flash just kept on going back in time trying to find him.
That's from Chain Lightning? No, that's from Return of Barry Allen.
Yeah, Return of Barry Allen. Yeah, so that's the story.
Yeah, the end of where he's like, he's like running. He's like basically taunting him. Like, I want to go back and kill him. Exactly. And he blinks off, and it's like,
yeah.
It's like a Wally West has finally made it moment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So like, I think that would be a great way to end it, because that way, Barry's he's still not as fast as Reverse, but he just needs enough smarts to trick him and stuff like that. So I think that kind of ending, that'd be a great way to end the show. So, and then I think this episode's also with Iris revealing or coming to know what's going on. I think it was a great entry point for new viewers.
Yeah.
Because after the last break, their viewership's kind of down a little bit.
Oh.
I mean, it's still great for the Flash, on CW, if you will. But I think it was just numbers aren't that great. But I think this is a good lead-in episode for that.
Yeah.
And then so yeah, I think it was great. Overall, it was a good episode. I mean, my beefs are kind of minor. I mean, I will grant you that, but I mean, the security one.
Yeah, I still think this is one of the stronger episodes of the past few weeks.
Yeah.
And I think part of it too was just that there's just a lot of revealing, and so it was interesting because last week was a big revelation to a bunch of different people, and now it's been one person, several large reveals to the same person, and all the assimilation and emotional baggage that has to go along with that.
Right.
But the other thing is, sorry, every week I heart Cisco, I have to say it, but this week he was going on about how much he likes movies, and people were kind of teasing him about it a little bit or whatever. But I will say that the Grodd story really did remind me of the most recent Planet of the Apes movies, and I was going to ask how similar that was to the comic.
I'm sure of Grodd's history, because he is not my favorite villain, because I feel like this back to the Sherlock Holmes days is like they would make the chimpanzee or monkey or whatever, like he was a big villain, but people don't understand that they're just they're not natural villains, like they're not an enemy of mankind, if you will. They're not like, they really I don't want to go Goodall on everyone here, but it's just like Jane Goodall. So,
I've heard of it.
Okay, so yeah, okay. Well, yeah, I just don't want to I just don't think they're like not really bad people, just bad animals, and so I just feel like it's not really convincing enemy for me. So much.
Okay, but I remember Devin being enthusiastic about Grodd and knowing a lot about Grodd.
Okay, what I will say about this is that you're right. Gorillas are pretty passive animals, especially towards humans. They're not really aggressive towards us at all, unless you count like those crazy ones out in like, I don't know, elsewhere. But in any case,
those ones.
The comic book, actually. I mean, you have the whole race is basically benevolent. Like the Gorilla City people who live there are all really, really good people. It's only Grodd, the evil one.
Oh, okay.
And he's just that little different. He's just a little twisted.
Right.
He's just a little crazy. And I like
the common thread that I saw was with this one and with the movie and just in general. I think a lot of times when it's like a monkey or ape or gorilla gone bad kind of a storyline is they realize they're being used in some way or being wronged, and smart enough and having whatever wherewithal to do something about it, whether it's strength or cunning.
Yeah. Well, I was going to say, I appreciate this difference when it comes down to it, because in the comic book, Gorilla Grodd is just a savage being for really no apparent reason. Like the rest of them are all really good people. He's just like a crazy, or people, really good gorillas, and he's just like a crazy random one-off weird guy. Whereas now he's a reason for why he's the way he is. There's a backstory. There's a impetus for it. It makes perfect sense now. It kind of works into the whole thing. And I don't know. I feel like the savagery is probably something that's just been egged on by Eobard. I mean, what else? I mean,
Well, I will also say, like, this episode, I liked it, but the security issue was also. But my other thing was that the solution, spoilers, but whatever. But like, we just, the way we got around this enemy was, we tricked him by having him run into be rolled over by a subway train, right? That's it, right? I mean, and we just like,
I don't think that's the end.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, we're done here.
Comfortable with, yeah.
Well, okay, real quick. First of all, real quick though.
Huh?
Do you feel like trains come that fast after the other ones? It's really unsafe. Like trains don't come that close to each other ever. If they were to be some kind of horror or something, I mean, there'd be some warning for Grodd to be like, okay, well, I'm not gonna get hit by it. I mean, come on, really? And plus, he's telepath. He couldn't sense the people in the train coming towards him.
Yeah, that's.
I mean, there's so many holes right there.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess he'd be focused on Flash, I guess, at the time. Maybe that's what it was. I don't know, but
yeah,
there's so much going on.
He was in the moment, man. He can. Yeah, so like he was. Yeah, I just feel like there's got to be some people just in that subway train just freak the f out right now because there's a just smashed the train conductor pieces, right?
So I agree. There's going to be fallout from that.
I mean, and I'm like, hey, Iris, reporter blogger.
Here's a scoop for you.
Yeah, it's a scoop. There's train conductor guts in the subway. You may want to like put it on the front page of your blog. So, but
yeah.
But, yeah.
I also I also think there's fallout from this, but maybe me being paranoid is the general being in the jail. Like I understood why they put him in science jail this week.
Science jail.
Science jail.
On the future. Jails.
We've got our jingle for science jail.
Science jail. We come to the future to secure your villain from today.
Yes.
Science jail.
But
Science jail to reading Rainbow theme song.
Right. And great. So I was uncomfortable with the general, like at the end, he's back to being himself, and now he knows all this stuff about science jail and what they do there. And for his, because of the things that he's trying to do, I don't like him knowing that that's there. And I think there's going to be payback for that or a problem in the future.
They actually helped him out. Like, you guys, this is going to be a buddy movie from now on. They were like, hey, guys, you saved me from Grodd. I'm going to do you a solid. Here's some toilets. All right, that's what he's going to do.
I'm going to send you some guys to dig some latrines for science jail.
Here's some military surplus toilets for you guys for science jail. This was going to be, he's going to do them a solid.
Just placing each one just to keep them nice and peaceful, docile.
Yeah, like Grodd helped me out because he made sure, like, oh, no toilet. I'm not going to, like, hey, you knew humans like toilets, so I'm not going to have you go. But, like, now that I've seen it, I'm going to go back and, like, give you a toilet.
That's one of our defining characteristics. Is that what you're saying? That we like toilets?
Right, yeah, exactly. And bananas. Apparently, Grodd hates bananas. But anyway.
Okay.
Hey, did you get a idea that character that Eiling was running around as at first was loosely based on Plunder?
On Plunder?
Oh,
Remember Plunder?
Yeah, you were shouting out a bunch of different names.
Oh, I thought it was Alchemist was mine. I thought it was the Alchemist.
Alchemist. Who's the Alchemist? I mean, Dr. Alchemy?
Yeah, Dr. Alchemy. Yeah.
I'm talking about Eiling.
Oh,
yeah, but I mean, when Chris first saw him come out in that costume or whatever, he was like, "Huh, who's that?" Just kind of like wondering who the villain of the week was.
Yeah, I thought it was Dr. Alchemy, like, because they have Dr. Alchemy who was like kind of in a suit, I think, like a military suit for a while, and then he got the Philosopher's Stone for a while, and then
oh, you mean he wasn't called Dr. Alchemy though. He was called the Element Master, something like that.
Oh, okay.
Dude, we're told.
Who did you think it, Devin? Who did you think?
Dr. Element, Mr. Element, something like that.
Yeah.
I thought it was a character that was created during Jeff Johns' run, basically in his first story. This character called Plunder. Basically, Wally gets sent to this, along with Captain Cold and Mirror Master, gets accidentally sent to this random mirror universe where all the backwards characters of all of them exist.
Oh, okay.
And he ends up Plunder for the first time, and Plunder escapes on his coattails back to our reality. But I think this is a kind of their way of incorporating Plunder without making it ridiculous.
Yeah,
I don't know. It looked like Plunder. It looked like Plunder to me, and it had the same MO. I don't know.
No,
it might have been an Easter egg.
Yeah, I thought it was a good one.
I love hearing this stuff because it's like stuff that I don't know. So
yeah, he sort of looked like Alchemy to me, like but with the like military suit, and he was getting gold. I felt like, because Alchemy. So yes. So that was my two cents on that.
So we'll get to find out what the gold is for maybe next week.
Yeah, and to me it's like Dr. Alchemy getting gold is a lot better than bringing a Philosopher's Stone and, you know, trying to like, you know, bring that in as magic.
I'm sure it has something to do with the travel or whatever.
I don't know.
We'll see.
But yeah, so that's so where are we? Is that about it?
I think that's about it, unless there's other things that you any stones left unturned, Devin?
Any beef we need to
Any beef that you have?
Well, if I'm thinking about beef, really, nothing really. I just really did though love the interaction between Eobard or Wells and Eddie.
Yeah, we didn't talk about that. Yeah,
I love the back and forth. I love the filling into that little history type thing. I love that they're really embracing especially the time travel nature of the Flash. That's one of the main things in the Flash is since the beginning has been time travel.
Yes.
Like he always time travel back and forth through whatever. And they touched on it back in the old series briefly in a freaking fantastic episode, in my opinion, at least.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's the first time I'm really kind of seeing embracing that, and I just love that backstory. And I really want to see if Eddie's either going to be replaced in some manner or way by. I mean, Eobard's obviously egging him on for some reason.
Yeah, he was really making fun of him.
He's messing with him.
Yeah, and in a way that was like kind of base, in my opinion, for Dr. Wells. But at the same time, it's like, I'm sorry, but when families pick at each other, it's usually a couple levels more base than the way they pick at other people. So I was like, yeah, that kind of makes sense. All that passive aggressive stuff he was saying about him being not a worthwhile life and everything.
Well, the last episode he said Eddie is his insurance policy, and I thought like at first the level was like, well, if they find me, I'll just use you as a human shield. But I think the insurance policy is like if Barry and the Speed Force can't get me back home, I'll try to make you a speedster because I think it runs in the family. And so I'll make Eddie a speedster. And so I think that's the insurance policy because I need someone to be fast in order to like, I don't know, get back home. So I'm not sure. Like, but so I think
he told the other guy identity. That's what I thought it meant.
Oh, what'd you think?
I just thought it meant that he's going to steal his identity.
Oh, really?
Like if he's cornered by all of them and Wells has obviously been blown as his cover.
Right.
And if he really needs to hang out there still, if he can't get back to his own time still, he might have to take someone else's identity. And what better thing to do than to make sure that his self-fulfilling prophecy still, keeps going.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
I didn't think about
and it's also kind of cool in a weird reverse way. He's like his grandfather in reverse.
That's my favorite
reverse.
Tell you what it really is, but yeah.
Is that a Futurama episode? I'm my own.
Oh my God!
If we don't, I was gonna say if we don't have any other things to say about the episode, we should talk about the contest.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so for the finale, which is coming up very soon, is it 2 weeks?
I think it's 2 weeks.
2 weeks. We are going to be having a fake spoiler contest. And so just use the hashtag fake flash spoilers. And Devin is showing the prize.
Oops, let me show it.
Maybe you can talk a little bit about this awesome action figure, Devin.
This is the very first action figure based on the likeness of Gustin of the CW The Flash.
Nice.
It is a fantastic action figure, super detailed, pretty darn accurate as far as the suit goes. I will say that there's a few accents missing, but I'm not going to nitpick. There's also some extra hands included to put him in a running stance.
Oh, cool. Okay.
He can also grab boomerangs if he needs to sometimes.
Nice.
He can also punch the crap out of somebody with supersonic.
Okay, so you have a couple of them there. So you're showing us the one that you've opened that's yours, but the one we're giving away is unopened. Is that true?
It sure is. It is mint on card. It is ready to go.
All right, nice.
Perfect. So for the finale, we'll just be watching Twitter for fake flash spoilers. So just use that hashtag fake flash spoilers. And my fake flash spoiler for this week is that Harrison accidentally kills Eddie and has to get together with his grandma, just like that Futurama episode, to become his own grandfather. That's my fake flash spoiler.
Right.
For the finale.
Fake flash spoiler.
Fake flash spoiler. We already talked about the Kool-Aid Man breaking into science jail as a fake flash spoiler.
That's right. Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
So
I think my big Flash spoiler, I gotta say, some crazy random accident happens. Lightning hits Flash and Iris, and they switch powers, and then the whole next about
Freaky Friday.
Iris and the Flash.
It's
running around.
Freaky Friday. Yes.
Kind of like Spider-Gwen, actually. You know the Spider-Gwen randomness coming on in Marvel right now?
No.
Okay, well, they cloned Gwen Stacy, and she has spider powers, and she has her own series.
Yes.
Oh, wow.
Okay.
All right, then.
I knew about the series. I just didn't know like what the heck it was.
What the?
I think it's a gist of it, at least. I'm not really following Marvel like I used to. I'm more of a DC, much more of a DC person.
Yeah.
I'm making, but yeah. So
okay, cool.
You know, I will show off a couple things I do have nearby. I did have a birthday this past week. I went skydiving. I'm gonna show a video sometime soon on my YouTube page.
Okay.
And I got a sweet glass statue.
Nice. Wow.
Holy
That's
cow.
beautiful.
Yeah.
Yes, indeed. Really sick. And then I got a nice little sweet t-shirt right here.
Nice.
Yeah, oh, that's beautiful.
Last week, but it didn't work out.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think anything else nearby. I have a bunch more other stuff, but we'll get to that later. But in any case, it was great to talk to you guys as usual.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, I'm glad our connectivity was back up, because I kind of missed being able to talk about things last week as much as we normally do. So this was helpful for me.
Yes. And so, well, then the next week's episode is called Rogue Air, and so it's basically rogues.
Yes.
So we get rogues coming, and then but I will say this week's episode was directed by Dermott Downs, who did Plastique episode way back. I think it was like the 4th episode, maybe, or it was and it was also written by the people who did the All-Star Team Up, which was our best episode review, because we had we tore that one to 5 ways of Sunday. That was so I think it was a better outing for these writers this time
I think
out.
so too.
Yeah, they had a better handle.
I do want to mention real quick before we sign off, before that the last episode, whatever it was called, I can't remember now.
The Trap, or who was Harrison Wells?
Trap, yeah.
The Trap.
The Trap. That was, I gotta say, that directing in that one was so just that I did not dig it at all.
Oh, really?
All over the place.
Really?
I mean, I want to mention it last week. I had more specifics on things to talk about.
Yeah,
that well, not that so much, but more about just the weird cuts back and forth between the people when they're talking. Like they go from jump. It was really jarring. Didn't really flow well.
Oh yeah, yeah. Because my beef with that was that they were introducing new aspects to Joe's character.
Oh. About
Joe and Wells, and them talking to each other that it could have been explained earlier on, but I felt like these are episodes that they kind of had planned, but they expanded the episodes more based. So, but actually, I think this is the first episode that was directed by a director who's actually won an Emmy.
Oh.
So.
What, really?
Yeah, he actually won an Emmy for Dexter. So, but yeah. So I thought with the flashback, I think he handled it pretty well. I think all that stuff. Yeah, to me, I wasn't too happy that they actually had flashbacks in there, because we haven't really had that aspect that video that tool that can use to do that. So, but yeah. Anyway, so that's kind of weird, because you didn't like the directing of the episode, and I kind of did. I don't know.
That's okay.
But yeah,
we have opinions.
All good. I love it, though, for the most part, though. I really did dig it, actually.
Yeah.
I thought it did a great job with Grodd. I love the telekinesis. I love the telepathy.
Yes.
I love the savagery. I love the just brute strength. I love the failure, the supersonic punch. Oh man, that was such a cool fanboy. Just grab, throw. What? Use some speed punches. No.
Yes.
Oh
man.
Good stuff. But yeah.
Excellent.
All right.
Well, thanks. And Devin, tell people where they can find you online.
Oh, you can find me as always at fastestpanalive.com. You can find me on Twitter at Flash Johnson. You can also find me on Facebook at facebook.com/fastestpanalive.
Cool.
All right.
Excellent. Yeah. I am on Twitter. I don't talk very much about comic book related things, but I am on Twitter at ARI4NNE. And
I am on Twitter at at TELEJECT. Also, I might put a box up here for you to subscribe to our Google page or YouTube channel, whichever I'm about here. I'll actually do it this time. But please subscribe just so you get the latest reviews.
There we go. Okay.
Right there. And then please subscribe to our channel, and so when we get able to do these, they'll be the first to know. And then should we talk about Avengers 2?
No.
Okay.
Everybody else is talking about it. We don't need to.
All right. See you guys.
Bye.
Bye.